Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie, for those of you joining me for the very first time. Okay, we are going to have a look at the Oracle cards and what they have to say about the energies for the week ahead. So we are going to just dive right into it, and we're going to have a look, we're going to start with the Ascending Life Oracle, the MahrukhX deck. Okay. All right, so first up, we have boundaries. Your boundaries are being tested, not surrendering, standing your ground, staying true to yourself. Boundaries have been coming up a lot recently. I think a lot of people are feeling challenged and feeling the need to establish new boundaries, which can always be challenging because sometimes as you're growing and as you're shifting and you're establishing these new boundaries, people become offended. They don't like when you're not doing what they expect you to do or what it is they are used to you doing. And this can be difficult for us at times to navigate and to keep those boundaries in place. But if you know you're doing the right thing, it's something that you really need to keep in place and hold your ground on, because it's only going to serve you as you move through life. The next card out is chaos, difficult experiences, heavy burdens testing your strength, unpredictable events, opposing forces. And it makes sense to me that this is coming out right after the boundaries card, because it becomes difficult when you are establishing those boundaries, when you are holding your ground and people are getting upset about them. I know at different times in my life, I have had to establish new boundaries, or I'm working on improving myself in some way, shape, or form. And there are plenty of people that you would think would support you, but rather question every single thing that you're doing. And I don't think it's always that there is a lack of love. I think it's that people are comfortable with you being where they're used to you being, and that's where they want you to stay. So that can start a whole mess of things coming up. And you might be pulled in different directions. It's opposing forces. You're being pulled back to who you were because that's what suits the people that are uncomfortable is you're doing and where you are now. And you're being pulled in another direction, which is for your growth and your betterment. And it can be very scary sort of holding your ground with all of that. The next card out is up in the air, not knowing where you stand, situation, decision still undecided, uncertain about something, lacking stability. So again, I feel like with whatever is coming in regard to your boundaries, it's causing a lot of tension. It's causing a lot of unease, that the lack of stability. And just know that it's okay. It's okay to sit in that space. Okay, so what happened was, I always leave it when the cards jump out, and a big mess of cards jumped out, but it was enough that I'm like, all right, I don't need to pull any more cards after this. I think this is all we need to do. So the next card out is bridge, another phase of life, transition, need to find common ground and bridge the gap. So I do think that all of this is about a new phase of life for you. And whenever we do step into that new phase, there often are boundaries and things that we need to establish. And so it is a transition phase. And this is why there is the uncertainty and the chaos as people are having to adjust to where we are. And you have to move through it. The chaos and the feeling of instability will ease over time. But in order for that to happen, I mean, the fastest way to do it is to just go back to where you were, but then that stops your growth. And the whole point of this is for you to grow and move forward and keep things sort of moving in a way that helps you and your growth and you moving in the direction that you need to move in. So that's what you need to remember through all of this. Next card out is boredom. Bored of daily routine, wanting more out of life, longing for a change, constrained by circumstances. I feel like this is where we've been. And this is exactly why we are implementing these new boundaries and making the changes that we are. This is why we're stepping into a new phase of life. And the instability that's being found, maybe it's not you that's feeling the instability, but the people around you that are trying to pull you back to where you were. But that's okay. You're doing what's right for you, and I say keep going. Okay, next one out is mountain. Obstacles and challenges, possible delays, patience needed, required perseverance. I think the main thing from this reading is all about where you're moving to. And last week's reading from memory was a little bit about what's going on in the 3D world, but a lot of it was about your growth and how you're leveling up as a light worker and the next phase that you're moving into. And I think this is part of that, but more in a 3D world. Like you've seen what can be unfolding in front of you and you're ready for it. And that's why the boundaries are needing to be established. It's why the changes are being made. It's why you're stepping into this new phase of life. And change is always a little discombobulating because it's different. It's not what we're used to. It's not what we consider normal, but it's totally fine. And it can feel like you are like overcoming an obstacle or that it's challenging. And I mean, that's the excitement in stepping into this new phase in your life. It is the fact that there is a challenge. I mean, nobody wants to sit in this place of boredom. I mean, why would you want to sit there? So the next card out is stepping stone, taking one step at a time. Don't rush the journey, gradually building on success, the start of something bigger. So this next phase that you're starting, you are just at the beginning. This is just the very beginning. So if these people that are trying to dissuade you from moving forward are getting in your head, and you're looking at it going, oh, I want to be there, but I'm only here and I've done this, but it's not. There's not one stepping stone. There's a whole bunch of them. And you have to be prepared to put in the work to get there. And I mean, that's why you've got the whole mountain card, obstacles, challenges. It is a challenge when we're on a new path, but that's what makes life exciting. That's what gives us the great stories and the feeling of accomplishment at the end of it. So the last two cards from this deck is teamwork, and this card has been coming out in almost every reading that I've used this deck in for these weekly readings. Partnership to complete a goal. Someone will come to your aid, expanding your network and the tasks. So this new journey that you're on, you may need help or assistance or guidance or something, something essentially that entails you leaning on somebody. And it is more than okay to ask for help. We don't need to be hyper independent and do it on our own our entire lives. I am someone that is so guilty of being hyper independent. I am always out there going, I can do it. I can do it. I have a ginormous rug in my living room. And when I moved here, I didn't have a support network. And I remember the day it arrived and I had to push it up my flight of stairs. Instead of going and asking a neighbor, hey, do you mind helping me or anything like that? No. I did it on my own. And I had a friend on the phone. And as I was unrolling the rug, then I realized, well, now it's unrolled. What am I going to do with it? So then I had to get it situated under my couch, which I did on my own. Did I get it done? Yes. Was it ridiculously difficult? Yes. Could I have made my life so much easier by just asking for help or accepting help? 100 times yes. Would I do it that way now? No, I would actually call someone and say, hey, can you come help me? Or I would go knock on a door. And I've done it in the past when there have been spiders in my house in Australia and we get some big ones. Huntsmans are terrifying to me. They're big and hairy. They won't hurt you, they're just not pleasant. I've had huntsmans in my house and I have gone and literally door knocked, introducing myself to neighbors until I found someone that could come and help me. Either get it out or kill it. I'd prefer to just move them somewhere else. But when you're terrified and you're asking for help, you take what help is on offer. But my point is, I've done it before. So why do I have these moments of thinking that I can't ask anybody for anything? There is no reason. It's my own stubbornness. So make sure you are not me this week and ask for the help that you need. Rely on the people around you. Know that you can reach out to them and they will be there to help you. And then the final card is playfulness, having more fun in life, not taking life too seriously, enjoying the little things in life, careful not to go overboard. And this is a card that from memory came out last week. I always giggle when this card comes out around this time because the goggles that she's wearing always make me think of Burning Man, and I think that's happening right now. Um, is it happening now or is it happening next month? Either way, with everything that is going on, it is important to remember that we need to enjoy life. And I know that when you've got this big shift happening in your life at the moment, it can be difficult and we can become consumed with and what's going on in our head and how we're going to get to the other side and how do we find our way through it. You have to find time to make fun in all of this. So last night I was doing some body work just for my own personal growth. Is it painful? And what I can tell you is the way I got through it, because I obviously had somebody guiding me through it and what have you, we laughed a lot. There were jokes being made. I was cursing and carrying on because it was painful, but sometimes you have to move through that pain for the transition to take place. But we laughed, and that was what got me through. And I'm so glad that I did the work. Did I enjoy it in the moment? Not so much. Do I feel a thousand times better today because I went and did all of that work? Yes. Am I releasing stress and tension from my body? Yes. So, what's the best way to get through it? With a joke, with a laugh, being silly, anything to shift the energy to a more positive space. So just make sure that you're taking the time to do that as you're navigating all of these changes that are showing up in your life. So we've moved on to the Angels and Ancestors Oracle card, which is a Kyle Gray deck. And I've just realized the deck we're finishing up with today is also a Kyle Gray deck. I do enjoy his cards. So Animal Guardian, trust your instinct or instincts. You already know what it is that you're doing and where you're going. And there will be people trying to convince you that you're moving in the wrong direction. Like I said at the beginning of this reading, that is more about their discomfort rather than what is right or wrong for you. You already know what it is you need to do. You know that you need to hold your ground with the direction that you're moving in. So just make sure that you're doing that and giving yourself that grace and trusting what you already know is correct. Perfect card for what this reading is. Snake, shed old skin. We've been talking about this growth for such a long time. Snakes do move through their life and at different moments will shed their skin, as will a crab shed their shell, and lobsters do that as well, so that they can continue to grow. It is time for you to let go of what was, move through this unsurety, move through the confusion, move through the doubt that other people are having, and maybe it's moving through your own doubt as well. But it is time to step into the person that you know you are and that you have grown into, and allowing the world to see that and letting go of the older version of you, because that no longer serves you. Okay, we'll pull one more from here. Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. So it's time to dig deep and be really honest with yourself about where you are, what you need, what you require, and maybe it's what you need from the people around you in terms of support. Um, what this transition is making you feel, what it is. Maybe part of it is shedding certain emotions and feelings that you've been hanging on to that no longer serve you, whether it be related to your childhood, past loves, family, all of these things. We hit a point where hanging on to all of that serves absolutely no purpose other than holding us back and dragging us down. So connect with your emotions, figure out what it is you're feeling, if there is something to let go of, so you can work on that. Um, so that when you shed that skin of who you were, you're able to move in feeling like a new person, feeling like you are weightless and able to move through in a perfect, unobstructed way. Okay, and we are going to finish up with the Divine Masters Oracle. I woke up thinking about this deck, so I knew they had something to say. Rumi, mystical knowing, breaking boundaries, personal experience of God. You already know, and I mean, Rumi has some of the best quotes that get posted again and again and again on social media. Um, this is about breaking your boundaries. This is about, letting go of limiting beliefs that you've always had. This is about your experience and your connection with the universe. I'm going to pull one more. Mahavata Babaji, spiritual awakening, interconnectedness, understanding the inner workings. You're realizing that everything is interconnected. You're starting to realize, like, have a really true, deep understanding about how the world works, how we are all interconnected, and the connection between what we're carrying and what we're moving into, and why we have to work so hard to release the things that no longer serve us. So, it last week's reading was very much about the 5D part of us and the growth and the spiritual growth that we're having. This week, I think, is really about how we're moving forward in the 3D to achieve that growth. And we have these, along with our own angels and guardians watching over us and along the way. But we are so supported in what we're moving into. And you need to remember that, especially in those moments when the people around you are tugging at you and telling you that you're being silly, or you don't need to, or you need to go back to where you were, because you don't. You don't at all. So trust that and enjoy the journey. I mean, I get so excited at the beginning of something, because in those moments when you are at the beginning, everything is possible. Absolutely everything is possible, versus being at the end of the journey and you look back and you get to look at what you accomplished, which is always amazing. But at the beginning, every possibility lays ahead of you and anything can happen. So, as I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not every reading is for every person. And I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't already seen it, I did an incredible interview with Lisa Sonni on why and how women get trapped in domestic violence situations and in abusive relationships. It is a conversation that, even if that is not a situation you've ever been in, it may help you recognize the signs if you're dating someone that isn't so great, or maybe it can help you help a friend move through that relationship. I just finished filming an interview with a gentleman in Australia that owns a certified organic food company, and their dealings with a Australian government entity that it would seem there's corruption or something going on there. So that will be dropping on Wednesday, US time, Thursday, Australian time. So keep an eye open for that. And of course, last week, Anne and I had a huge week with Gemini Rising. We had Jasmine Safi, who created the Rainbow Oracle. And she let us know on the show that there is another deck, a second deck, which is coming out. She said in about 6 months. I'm super excited, and you know I will have that deck the moment it's released. And then on Friday night, we kicked off our weekend with JK Ultra, and we discussed at length her book, Ken Not Included. It was such a fun conversation. I mean, we talked about dominatrix, being a dominatrix as a profession. We talked about fairy tales and the impact on women today. A whole lot of feminine issues. I don't want to put off any men from watching it, because it's not just feminine issues, but I think in a really fun and funny way. So please make sure you go and check that out in the live stream section of my Natalie Say to YouTube. And I will see everyone who is on High Vibe on Friday when I'm in the studio with David for full disclosure. And we're halfway through the month, so go back and check out my August reading. And it's pick a pile, rewatch the pile that you picked. Maybe it's time and a new pile is resonating with you, and have a look at those energies for the month. And I will see you next Monday for the next episode of the Weekly Oracle Wisdom. Have a great one, everyone.